They say love is the strongest force in the universe, but when betrayed, it can break a person beyond repair. This story isn't about drama or revenge. It's about how one man's honest love ran headfirst into betrayal, and the painful clarity that followed. It all began with an anniversary trip. And it ended with the truth I never asked for, but desperately needed. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of shared laughter, whispered secrets in bed, dreams about the future. That was Dana and me. Or at least, that's what I thought. We met at a mutual friend's housewarming party. She was bold, radiant, and fiercely intelligent. She debated politics with confidence, but had a soft spot for stray animals. I was drawn in like a moth to a flame. Within a year, we were married. Our life wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. Lazy Sunday mornings, takeout on the couch, falling asleep to bad Netflix documentaries. We were best friends, or so I believed. We even had our little traditions: Friday night wine and pizza, Saturday morning farmers markets, and every year on our anniversary, we'd take a short trip somewhere new. This year was supposed to be special. 5 years. A big milestone. So I booked a 3-day trip to the Smoky Mountains, her favorite escape. A cabin tucked deep in the woods, surrounded by silence and stars. I kept it a secret until 2 weeks before the trip. When I told her, she smiled, but something was off in her eyes. A hesitation I hadn't seen before. A few days later, she came home and said she couldn't make it. Work emergency, she said. Her company was launching a massive campaign, and she had to stay. I saw the regret on her face, or at least, what I thought was regret. I hugged her, told her I understood. Because that's what love does. It trusts. After she canceled, I tried to act like it was no big deal. But the weight in my chest wouldn't leave. Dana became distant. She spent more time at the office. She stopped laughing at my dumb jokes. Her hugs started feeling like obligations, not affections. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I was being too sensitive. Maybe she really was just stressed. Then the phone calls started getting missed. I'd call during her lunch break, no answer. I'd text in the evenings, no reply for hours. She'd brush it off, claiming endless meetings. But every time I looked into her eyes, I saw something retreating, like she was hiding behind her own smile. One night, I noticed her phone buzzing at 11 p.m. She picked it up quickly, glanced at it, and turned it face down without saying a word. That was the night the doubts stopped whispering, and started screaming. The Friday of our anniversary weekend arrived. It was supposed to be our escape from the world. But instead of packing bags and sharing kisses, Dana left early for work. I stayed home. I stared at the reservation confirmation on my laptop. That cabin was waiting for us. Our bags were still in the closet, untouched. The trip was dead before it began. But I couldn't shake the feeling. So I made a decision that would change everything. I ordered her favorite lunch, green curry and jasmine rice. I picked up a bouquet of white lilies, the kind she had in her wedding bouquet. And I drove to her office, hoping maybe, just maybe, I was wrong. On the way, I kept thinking of excuses. Maybe she's actually working hard. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe this gesture will remind her how much I love her. I arrived at her office building, heart pounding, palms sweating. The front desk assistant recognized me and waved me up without question. I took the elevator to the 6th floor. I turned the corner, and time stopped. Through the half-open blinds of her office, I saw her. She was laughing, head tilted back, face glowing, but not at something on her screen. No, she was sitting on her desk, legs crossed, with a man standing between them. He was tall, dressed in an expensive suit, hand casually resting on her thigh. And then, she kissed him. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't one of those confusing hugs that could be misread. It was deliberate, intimate, familiar. My hands shook. The flowers slipped from my grip. The food dropped to the ground. The hallway felt like it was spinning. I backed away, slowly, quietly. I didn't want them to see me. I didn't want her to explain. I didn't want to hear a single word from her mouth because I already knew what it would be, lies. I didn't go home that night. I drove until I ran out of gas. I sat in my car in some abandoned parking lot and cried until my throat hurt. There was no dramatic music. No movie ending. Just silence. The next day, Dana called and asked where I was. I told her I had to run errands. She didn't push. Over the next week, I pretended. I smiled. I kissed her goodnight. I packed her lunch. All the while, I felt like a ghost in my own home. But I wasn't idle. I became a detective. I installed software that tracked our shared Google account activity. I pulled phone records. I checked our cloud storage and found a hidden folder labeled work travel. Inside, hotel confirmations, rideshare receipts, and dozens of photos. Dana and her boss. Dana and Greg. I remember one image that stuck in my mind, her, in a silk robe, standing by a hotel window, smiling at the camera. It was time-stamped on the day we were supposed to be on our trip. That was the day my love died. I waited until our anniversary date to confront her. I wanted the symbolism. The irony. I cooked dinner, just like we always did. I poured her wine. I even played the song from our wedding. She smiled nervously, sensing something was off. Halfway through dinner, I pulled out a gift box and handed it to her. "You got me something?" she asked. "Of course," I said. "Open it." Inside was a USB drive. Labeled simply, "Truth." She looked at me, confused. "Go ahead. Plug it into your laptop." I sat and watched as she opened folder after folder, screenshots, images, emails, GPS logs. Her expression changed from confusion to horror. "How long?" I asked calmly. She opened her mouth. Closed it. No words. "Just give me a number." She whispered, "A year. A whole year." While I made her breakfast. While I kissed her forehead. While I told her I loved her, she was sleeping with someone else. I reached into my drawer and handed her another envelope, divorce papers. Signed, notarized, prepared. Her hands trembled. "You can keep the house," I said. "I just want my peace back." The days that followed were a blur. I stayed at a friend's place. She texted, called, begged. But I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. Betrayal doesn't scream, it whispers. It rots you slowly. And when you finally see it, it's too late. But in that darkness, I found something unexpected, clarity. I began journaling. Going to therapy. Taking walks without a destination. For the first time in years, I was alone, but not lonely. I learned how to cook for one, how to sleep without reaching for a ghost, how to smile at strangers again. Healing doesn't come fast. It doesn't come clean. But it comes. I share this story not to shame her, but to show you, yes, you, the one who's been betrayed, lied to, manipulated, that your story doesn't end at heartbreak. It begins there. Today, I stand taller. I trust slower, but I love wiser. I don't chase closure from people who gave me scars. My wife canceled our anniversary trip, and I thought it was just work. I showed up with flowers, and walked away with the truth. That moment destroyed everything I thought I knew, but it also saved me. If you've ever been lied to, betrayed, or left broken, just know, pain is real. But so is recovery. So is rebirth. So pick up your pieces. Build again. Not for them, but for you. Because you're worth a love that never makes you question your worth.